Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. More trouble is brewing for the SEC. It is getting worse every day, it seems. You know, the first rule when you're digging a hole for yourself is to put the shovel down. The SEC just refuses to do it. Here we see that John Deaton has got a hold of the former SEC Chair Grunfest letter, which was warning Jay Clayton at the time to not sue Ripple over XRP. The Freedom of Information Act is now suing the SEC as well. Charles Gasparino reveals the divide and the pivot from the SEC, trying to get away from the Hinman speech while still trying to protect it in the lawsuit itself. And we've got evidence that the William Hinman speech was considered thoughts and guidance by the SEC. Let's go ahead and roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here. You can also follow us on Facebook at Digital Perspectives News, no spaces. Give us a follow there. $2.246 trillion market cap. It's December 11th, 2021. We are off by more than 2% here on the total market cap. Bitcoin right now at 48,700 plus, Ethereum at 4,000 plus. We see Solana at $170.36. Cardano is at $1.29, XRP 83 cents. Let's take a look at the range right now. 0.7991 on the low side and 0.8756. The whole market is struggling as we go into the weekend here. But don't forget about this. The numbers are brought to you by Link2.com, where you can buy private equity in Ripple, Uphold, Link2 itself, Kraken, and many, many other great products, including automation, artificial intelligence. You need to check them out. But here, if you buy private equity from Link2, they will give you $1,000 back in XRP if you use your Uphold wallet, which is connected to the private equity that they offer. If you buy Ripple directly, they'll give you $1,500 worth of XRP. No joke, it's very real. Great company, great people. Make sure you check it out. And we'll tell you this, you do have to be accredited, but if you're not, sign up anyway, because they have incredible information and data that you can get on all of these companies for free just for being a member. 100 million XRP transferred by major cryptocurrency exchange. This constantly baffles me when so much of it has been delisted for United States residents. Looking here, major cryptocurrency exchange BitHub has transferred close to 100 million XRP between its own wallets in a short period of time after the coin retraced from 17% growth. You know, the first large transaction appeared on the chain 4 hours ago. This was yesterday, with a large exchange-related address transferring a significant number of XRP coins to another address related to aforementioned exchange. It just fascinates me that all of this is getting moved around. At some point, I think they have to be gearing up to relist this thing. That's my personal thoughts on the matter. But here's a thought from Drewski, shared by XRP Phoenix here. The U.S. could turn off the internet and yet still have internet, SpaceX. They could turn off the internet and still have money, XRP and XLM. Do you understand this? The entire globe could lose power and there would still be an internet and money available for use. If you remember, he's highlighting this. Remember the XPOP? Ripple releases prototype version of XPOP, the software that will enable users to make payments without internet using XRP Ledger. Imagine them scaling that to where if there was a cyber attack to the financial system, that could be something that could be used where it could not be stopped. I tell you, it never ceases to amaze me what Ripple and XRP Ledger Labs are doing, and it's phenomenal. So there's something to take in thought as we develop this fourth industrial revolution, as we move into this new digital age. But let's get into the case now. From James K. Filing here, thank you, my friend. Parties filed joint motion to extend the expert discovery deadline by 3 days to take final expert deposition. Extra time needed due to scheduling conflicts. The good news is it will not change any other case deadlines. Thank you, James Filing. Appreciate you. All right, looking right here, things heat up for the SEC because now they got another lawsuit coming at them here. This is the Empowerment Oversight, which is the Freedom of Information Act, and they're suing the SEC because they won't release documents. You know, this is really getting pretty serious here. The SEC is the bully in the schoolyard. Empower Oversight filed a lawsuit against the SEC seeking to compel the SEC to comply with several Freedom of Information Act requests regarding potential conflicts of interest by former high-level officials, their regulation of cryptocurrencies. This is all to do with William Hinman and Jay Clayton here. And I tell you, the former senior SEC official William Hinman received millions of dollars in compensation from his former employer, Simpson Thacker. While helping guide the SEC regulation of cryptocurrency, Simpson Thacker is a part of a group that promotes the enterprise Ethereum, a cryptocurrency. Hinman said that the Ethereum was not a security, which in turn causes a spike in its value. The creator of another cryptocurrency known as XRP, later sued by the SEC. We know the rest of it, right? Finally, Chairman Clayton may have had conflicts of interest when he declared Bitcoin was not a security after his time at the SEC, joined the cryptocurrency hedge fund One River Asset Management that only worked on Bitcoin and Ether. You know, you have to start asking yourself, you know, was there a deeper motivation to their actions? And we will press on. Here is what's happening now. Shout out to Charles Gasparino, and you're about to hear him on Fox too. Their SEC is now arguing it has not officially declared Bitcoin and Ethereum compliant cryptos according to testimony in the SEC versus Ripple. That appears to be a 180-degree turn from not just Bill Hinman's speech, but the regulatory approach of former chair Jay Clayton. Listen, so far Gary Gensler has declined to comment, right? Now, we're going to move to this piece right here because this is the video from the interview yesterday that Gasparino gave to Liz Clayman. I'm going to play this for you, but knowing going into this that the SEC absolutely was using this stuff as guidance, and they were embracing it, and now they're trying to distance themselves from it. Now let's talk about the implications of that, because you can't have it both ways.
And now it looks like Bitcoin and Ethereum may be caught in the fray. What is this about, Charlie?
One of the more bizarre stories is that I've been covering for a while, particularly in crypto. Everybody's always assumed that Bitcoin, created by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, right? That Ethereum, created by Joe Lublin, whatever, you got his name right, Joe Lublin and company, they created the Ethereum blockchain with the Ether crypto coin. The blockchain of Mr. Nakamoto is Bitcoin, as you know. Everybody's always assumed they're legal, right? Compliant securities, they're decentralized. The SEC does not. They don't have to register with the SEC. The SEC has said as much in a speech in 2018 by Bill Hinman, then the head of corporation finance, and in other literature that the SEC has put out. It essentially deemed those two compliant securities. Well, not so fast. I'm reading the literature, not the literature, the court testimony in the Ripple versus SEC case. Ripple has been dinged for selling non-compliant, non-registered securities, mainly its XRP crypto coin. In reading this thing, Ripple's trying to argue that, hey, we're not that much different than Bitcoin. We're not that much different than Ethereum. And what the SEC is saying is, we don't care whether you're that much different than those two. We, at the SEC, have not declared those two compliant securities as of now. Mr. Hinman's speech was his personal opinion. As of now, neither of those things are one way or the other. We have no opinion on whether they are compliant securities. That is a huge story, Liz, in the crypto world, because it essentially opens the door to an enforcement action. If you take the SEC at its word, and that's one of the lawyers who's arguing the Ripple case, if you take him at his word, the SEC theoretically could file charges against Ethereum for issuing non-compliant securities that they issued in the past, even though if it's decentralized now, it wasn't always decentralized. Same thing with Bitcoin. When Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, right, at some point, it wasn't decentralized. It was just him, right? And guess what? He was.
Now let's listen to the next cut right here. And I can bet you by the information we're getting ready to go over after this, because John Deaton's got a hold of that Joseph Grunfest letter, and I encourage you to understand Joseph Grunfest is a former SEC chairman. And you're going to like what he's got to say, because he encouraged him to not move forward with dropping the lawsuit before he actually did it. And I can guarantee you right now, with the inconsistencies of his approach, Jay Clayton, his approach to drop that lawsuit, knowing that he leaves to go to work for One River, which benefited from the decision of William Hinman, and William Hinman going to work for Simpson Thacker, who also benefited from Ethereum's or the letter that he wrote about Ethereum not being a security as well. Both of these gentlemen at this point should be shaken like a cat shitting glass at this point.
Charges against Ethereum for issuing non-compliant securities that they issued in the past, even though if it's decentralized now, it wasn't always decentralized. Same thing with Bitcoin. When Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin, right, at some point, it wasn't decentralized. It was just him, right? And guess what? He was, and as you know, I think the story with him, he hasn't sold any of his Bitcoin, but maybe some of the initial people that worked on it did. Then does that become a non-compliant, compliant worked on the Bitcoin blockchain? This is where this is getting so bizarre, and it does. Listen, I don't know if they're going to go back and look for Mr. Nakamoto, whatever his name is, all right, whether he or she exists, because we don't know who it is right now, right?
It might be a bunch of people,
It might be
Charlie.
a bunch of people. So I don't think they go that far back. But clearly, Ethereum could be in the crosshairs, Liz. Gary Gensler, when he was an MIT professor, believed that, he said it point blank. He didn't think Ethereum, he believed Ethereum, there was a case to be made that Ethereum was not compliant. He has said that on the record. He does not comment on that now. We've asked him to comment on that and this whole subject. The SEC declined comment on the story, Liz. But clearly, this is a story that's that's definitely being talked about inside the crypto industry as this court testimony gets passed around. By the way, this court testimony occurred a couple of months ago, but it is now, you see it on social media, and that's kind of how I got my hands on it. And the SEC lawyer says it point blank. SEC has made no official ruling on the compliance of Ethereum's Ether or the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. Liz, back to you.
All I will say is we had the BitFury CEO the other day. He also testified before that House panel. Yeah. And he said, I asked him, is XRP a security or is it a currency? And he said, looks like a currency to me.
It's one of the reasons why this came up, whether Ethereum and Bitcoin is actually that there's an SEC ruling on it, is because XRP.
And that will take you to the overlap. But for those that don't realize, the CEO of BitFury is Brian Brooks, the former head of the Office of Comptroller of Currency, and oversaw the entire federally chartered banking system, referring that he believed that XRP looked like a currency to him, to Liz Claimant. Let's listen to this last little clip.
Across the nation, but today's
Ethereum and Bitcoin is actually that there's an SEC ruling on it is because XRP's lawyers, or excuse me, Ripple's lawyers are saying the case against us does not hold water. We sold XRP, yes, but we want to know, but it's not that much different than what happened in Ethereum. So we want to see, in our discovery, we want to see the SEC's rulings, what you've said on Ethereum, how you declared it back in 2018 a compliant security, and Bitcoin. SEC comes back and says, well, we haven't really declared it. That was Mr. Hinman, Bill Hinman's personal opinion. Very bizarre stuff.
Yeah, very bizarre what money will make men do. Right? That's how bizarre that is. And this is the clip, which is very hard to hear, but he will tell you that XRP looks like a currency in it. I'll boost the volume as much as I can, but boost your volume too, because it's very quiet. Here we go.
That is a great question, and I think it speaks to one of the most misguided questions yesterday, which was another question from Congressman Sherman, predicated on the idea that all cryptocurrencies are trying to replace money. The truth is, only a few cryptocurrencies are trying to do that. The others are doing totally different things. So you mentioned XRP. Yeah, XRP looks a little bit like a currency that represents a cross-border exchange of value, typically for remittances. For example, when immigrants are sending money home, XRP is a unit one to use. But most of these cryptocurrencies are built for other things.
And there you have it. And that is him highlighting that he believes it looks a lot like a currency to him. Here's the other rub here. TAIG, who's absolutely been on fire in this space. This is a congressional document stating Hinman's views were not just his own, but that of the SEC as well. Look where they put Hinman's letter, under the SEC's views. You can't make this up. So publicly, they're taking the stance to pivot away from the William Hinman letter that made Ethereum not a security and gave it the free pass. While in the case against Ripple and XRP, the SEC is claiming that William Hinman's speech should be protected by the agency's deliberative privilege process, which is a shield to protect all communications from being revealed through things like a court case or public knowledge. Now, for them to take 1 foot is a different stance in the case, saying it's protected, but then publicly trying to tell all of us today, oh, no. We're not saying that any crypto has gotten an official clarification from the SEC. That dog don't hunt, honey, okay? And the speech is listed under the SEC's views of the Securities Regulation Initial Coin Offerings legal primer that they put out. That's the problem, and it gets even worse. John Deaton, the voice of the XRP holders, has gotten a hold of the letter that Joseph Grunfest sent to the SEC and Jay Clayton, informing them that dropping a lawsuit against Ripple would be a huge mistake, and was giving them a huge warning of the implications of this. Listen to this thread as he lays this out here. Imagine a well-respected former SEC commissioner who acted as a liaison. He's referencing Joseph Grunfest, the SEC governor, between the SEC and Ethereum investors. Imagine the commissioner being instrumental with Ethereum investors communicating with the SEC, helping it to understand the underlying blockchain technology and network. Imagine the former SEC commissioner becoming very familiar with the Ether token and network. Imagine the assistance provided by this former SEC commissioner and securities law expert and Stanford law professor helped in part lead Hinman to give the Ether free pass speech. Imagine 18 months later, the same former SEC commissioner learns his colleague Jay Clayton is contemplating filing an enforcement action against Ripple and XRP, as Clayton and other senior officials are leaving the SEC forever. And by the way, to go work at Simpson Thacker and One River. Imagine he learns the SEC intends to claim present-day XRP is an unregistered security, although it was traded openly for more than 7 years. Imagine this securities expert becoming confused and dumbfounded as to why the SEC leadership was rushing to file a lawsuit. Imagine this SEC expert being so troubled by what he was witnessing, he felt compelled to write a letter to Clayton and other commissioners, warning and pleading them to not file a case under such befuddling and suspicious circumstances. He warned them to not do this. Imagine he writes, the proceedings implicate a broad range of policy concerns with significant consequences for the nation's financial and securities markets. Those proceedings can have significant effects on the evolution of emerging technologies involving novel forms of financial transactions, as well as for banking, money transfers, and other markets far beyond the Commission's legal remit. The implications are international. No pressing reason compels immediate enforcement action. Quote, the contemplated enforcement proceedings alleges no fraud, misrepresentation, or omission. Quote, but simply initiating the action will impose substantial harm on innocent holders of XRP, regardless of the ultimate resolution. Quote, upon learning of the proceedings, intermediaries will cease transacting in XRP because of the associated legal risk. Quote, imagine this SEC and SEC expert warning that he could find no other non-fraud securities case in U.S. history that would rival the devastation to the innocent holders than the filing of this case. Imagine this SEC expert who understood the Ether network because he helped Ether investors communicate it to the SEC, stating that it was fundamentally unfair for the SEC to claim XRP as a security while leaving Ether alone. Imagine the SEC and Ether expert informing Clayton and the commissioner that the SEC had not made any material distinction between Ether and XRP. Imagine the SEC's security law expert feeling so strongly about what he was witnessing that he actually wrote, "Imposing securities law obligations on XRP while leaving Ether untouched raises fundamental fairness about the exercise of commission discretion," unquote. If the commission is maintained, its tradition of fairness, Ether and XRP should be treated similarly. If Ether is to be allowed to be traded freely in the market, so too must XRP. And if XRP is to be subject to restrictions, so too should Ether. Quote again, any other result creates a competitive imbalance that cannot be rationalized with reference to fair enforcement of the federal securities laws. If you can imagine 5 pages of commentary and analysis consistent with the above, you can imagine the Grunfest letter addressed to Clayton, Hester Peirce, Heron Lee, Caroline Crenshaw, Elad Roisman, and copied to senior leadership at multiple divisions of the SEC. That is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you, I believe the SEC has painted themselves into a corner. And personally, Jay Clayton and William Hinman should probably be lawyering up at this point. That's going to do it for me. Don't let off the gas. This is exposing the same argument that we have been carrying on social media. Only the former SC chair gave them the argument before they dropped the lawsuit, and they did it anyway. Now we got to figure out what was the motive. Money, maybe? So it appears. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Share with somebody you know. Check out all the links in the description and comment box. They're great products and services I use each and every day, and they're trusted, vetted links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.